So as we all know, Sailor Moon Eternal Part 1 has been moved from its 9/11 release date to January 2021, and then Part 2 will follow in February 2021. Quite honestly, I'm very, very happy that the movies are just 1 month apart. It's much better than waiting the 4 months that we would have had to if it aired in September, and then waiting for February 2021 for Part 2. Honest to God, Part 2 is where the dream arc of the manga really takes off. Part 1's great, and I think Sailor Moon Eternal Part 1 is going to be an excellent film. But Part 2 is where so much of the action is, and where so much of the stuff that fans of the original anime have not seen. Part 2 is really what we want. But it has the outer transformations, it has their princess forms, it has eternal forms, it has the Amazon Quartet as sailor soldiers. There's just so much stuff that happens. The dream arc of the manga is so different than the original anime. So anyway, the movie's been moved, and Toei has been Toei has been the worst with releasing footage. They released on Sailor Moon's birthday the Double Moon Crisis makeup, which I was excited when they released it, but the animation is not good. As a nostalgia factor, it's fantastic, and I'm so excited to get more footage. And also as a reviewer, it's great to get more footage, but it could have been touched up. The '90s anime looks much better. Anyway, the only other piece of footage they released is a 15-second teaser trailer with very minimal new footage, and it looked cool, and we did a whole breakdown of it, and I had a great time discussing it. But this movie was set to release 9/11, and I'm filming this on August 18th. That movie would have been set to come out in less than a month. So there should have been a full trailer dropped by now. Honestly, even though the movie's dropping in January of 2021, we still should have seen a full trailer. I just don't understand why they won't give a trailer. It doesn't make sense. The film, if the movie was designed to release on 9/11, why haven't they released anything? Are they that afraid of the reaction, or are they just really trying to keep it that close to the vest? But I digress. So they haven't released any moving footage, minus the 15-second trailer and minus the Double Crisis makeup. But they have given promotional pictures of what the cast will look like. They dropped the inners, and they dropped the inners with the outers. We haven't got the outers by themselves as far as I know, but we've gotten the inners, and they look great, and the outers look great. I did a whole discussion video of that group shot of the 10 sailor soldiers together. But now we are getting the villains of the series. Now the villains that they haven't released are Nahalania and the Zirconia. Now I could have waited a couple more days, because more than likely it would have been dropped this week or next, the evil Nahalania and Zirconia. But I figured we have the Amazoness Quartet, who are amazing, and then we have the Amazon Trio, and we can just talk about them here. We'll have a good discussion. So Nahalania and Zirconia will get their own video. So anyway, they also released the voice actors for these characters, and quite frankly, I don't know enough about Japanese voice talent to have an opinion upon who they picked. If Toei, after they're done with Sailor Moon Eternal Part 4, I guess, I don't know what they're going to... I assume they will cover the Stars arc, but I don't know if it's going to be Sailor Moon Eternal Part 3 for the beginning of Stars, and then Part 4 for the end of it, or if it's just going to be Sailor Stars, the movie, who knows, Part 1 and Part 2. But when Toei finally finishes the manga, when it finishes Crystal Eternal, and the manga itself has been brought to life as close as I could, if I was Toei, I would do, because as far as I know, Nako and Toei have ownership of it. Nako is the creator, so she will always have control, but I don't know how much creative rights she has to. I don't know who the rights belong to 100%, or if it's divided 50-50, whatever. But if I was Toei, because they don't treat Sailor Moon right, and they will get a very pretty penny, I would market the hell out of that to Disney, quite honestly. And that might be blasphemy from some of you, to some of you, but I would market it to Disney and sell it, and Disney would buy it, because it's another vertical. Disney can go into anime, and then they could create a live-action Sailor Moon, and then we would get all 5 movies in live-action. Now, the PGSM that Sailor Moon was in live-action is horrible, but Disney live-action fairy tales, several of them have made $1 billion, and I bet you they would make an amazing Sailor Moon movie in live action, and it would be very diverse. Like, it doesn't have to be solely Japanese characters. Obviously, it originated in Japan, but Sailor Moon, the characters have, you know, blue hair, green hair. They're all technically, you know, Sailor Moon herself is blonde and blue-eyed. Like, if I had to instantly cast Sailor Moon, I would do Melissa Benoist. If I had to do Sailor Galaxia, I would cast her as Charlize Theron. If I had to cast Queen Beryl, I would cast, I almost said Addison Montgomery. I would cast Kate Walsh, who plays Addison Montgomery on Grey's Anatomy. Like, that is what I would cover. Like, if Sailor Moon becomes live action in the West, I would gladly cover those actors, but regrettably, I cannot talk about the Japanese actresses who have taken over the roles of the Amazon Quartet and the Amazon Trio. Anyway, enough about Sailor Moon in live action and my view on telemarketing. Let's look at the photos. We're already 5 minutes in. I do apologize, but I'm very happy to discuss all this with you. So, let's look at the trio. I've never been a big fan of the Amazon Trio, and my reasoning behind that is Sailor Moon, Dream, and the Super S anime with the trio is interesting because they don't truly represent the inners. Every evil group always has 4. So with Super S and the Dream, it's the Amazoness Quartet who represents the inners, and then in Infinity we have the Witches 5, who's really the Witches 6, and the Witches, you know, the first 4 represent the inners, and then, you know, Cypher and Petarol represent Uranus and Neptune, because Uranus and Neptune are a huge, crucial part of season 3. And then, you know, we have the Black Moon Sisters, who represent the inners, and then we have the Knights, Jedi Kunsight and Nephrite, who represent the inners as well. And then in Sailor Stars we have the Sailor Animates, who represent the inners: Crow, Nyanko, Siren, and Iron Mouse. Anyway, so the trio themselves is like an oddball because it really doesn't represent the inners, and they're, in the manga, they're tools of the Amazon Quartet. Like, they're pawns. In the anime, they're very fleshed out. They're very, very fleshed out characters, but even in the anime, I thought they were boring because, like, they don't have that animosity that you want, that the inners have with their duplicates. So I think artistically they look fantastic in comparison to their original anime. I honestly just think that they're just softened and they look more 2020 or more modern anime. I mean, the 90s anime is itself the 90s. It looks great. Like, I think you could take the 90s now and people would still watch it, but I think this style is fantastic and it really suits them, and I think they look great. I forgot that that Hawk's Eye wears heels, quite honestly, because I haven't watched Supers in a long time. But anyway, I think they look fantastic. I'm very happy with their designs, and of everything with the Super S or the Dream arc that's coming up, they're the least thing I want to see. I just think they're so boring. They're pawns, they die, and then nothing special really happens with them. I mean, the Black Moon Sisters in Sailor Moon are so much better than the manga, because in the manga they just die. In Crystal they die. In Infinity, the Witches 6 all die, but and in Sailor Moon Super they also die as well. And Crystal, I really actually prefer the Knights, because they're the love interest of the Interstellar Soldiers. But the Amazon Quartet is really where this discussion goes, because they are amazing looking. First up, I love how they look. I'm so excited to see them. But the Amazon Quartet become Sailor Soldiers at the end of the Sailor Moon Dream arc, and then they are Sailor Chin Moon's guardians, and they come back in part in the Stars arc. So they're the only group that comes back and has a big role. Like, I really just love them. I mean, in my fan-made videos, I try to include them as much as I can because I think they're great. They're developed. Of everything in the manga, they're the most developed. I would say in the original anime, quite honestly, the Black Moon Sisters are the most developed. Then I would give it to the Amazon Quartet than the original anime. But in the manga, it's given to the Quartet. They look fantastic in their designs. They look great. They look a little bit more childish, quite honestly, in this new modern style, but I really like it nonetheless, and I'm very happy to see these girls in full action. That's what I really want to see. I want to see a trailer for Part 1, because all these characters will be in Part 1. Now, Helenia, Zirconia, the Quartet, the trio, like, we need to see all of them in action in movie. We've seen what the inners look like. We've seen Sailor Moon characters move for so long, but these are the new ones. We need to see what's going to happen. So I really hope that maybe on the original release date they will drop a trailer. Quite frankly, my review, I mean, they're just pictures, so the videos, I mean, it's kind of long. I do apologize, but there's not that much to discuss with them because they're not moving, but they look great. I really like the art style. I think it's a great combination of modern anime and classic anime, and I look forward to seeing them seeing them in action. My only qualm is I really hope the movie is touched up because that Double Crisis makeup looked awful. But anyway, I'm excited to see these girls in action. I'm really curious what you guys have to say. Thank you so much for watching this video. Sorry that it was a little longer and that the beginning had a bit more of a introduction, but I appreciate you watching with me, and we'll talk about Sailor Moon Eternal really soon. Next video more than likely will be on the Helena and Zirconia, and then when a trailer drops, reaction, and then shot by shot. Alright guys, we'll talk soon. Bye.